We're hoping to be inspiring. That's what we're really hoping, because we know that we come out here and we beg for money.
Always begging for money.
Do you know why we beg for money? Do you have any idea how much it costs just for the operating budget of Mooseheart? It's around 17 or 18 million dollars a year. Now that's to turn on the lights and to feed the kids. Moose Haven, there's very little revenue that goes with that, whereas at Moose Haven, there's around a $19 million operating budget, of which about half of that is covered by revenues from like Brandon Place and stuff like that. So there's huge amount of money that is needed to run our favorite charities, and that's why we're up here
That's right.
begging you.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the MAC report, the contributions for the Mooseheart Activity Center. The latest report I have, we are, oh, I grabbed the wrong one. We are $126,000. Thank you. We are at $126,496.23. So Michigan is one of 7 states that have agreed to pick up the losses or the shortage from the rest of, oh, sorry, the Moose Association. So we're one of 7 that have agreed to help out. And so right now, since last May, we are now $126,000, or $26,000 into our overage.
Helping the others.
Yeah. So thank you. Thanks to everybody, the lodges, chapters, individually, you guys are really helping us. And we greatly, greatly appreciate that.
Do you think if we cheer them on, it would help?
Of course.
Oh.
Not this early in the morning.
Oh, come
We're expecting a little participation here. Okay. Now, do you remember the MAC cheer? M-A-C? Give me an L.
on!
Give me a C. And what do you got? MAC. Yes. And that is for our kids. Later on, I'm quite sure you're going to be seeing some of the more recent pictures of the MAC project. And if you're not aware of it yet, the dedication is going to be in June on the same weekend as the graduation. Not sure if it's on the 3rd Friday or if it's on the 4th on Saturday, but it'll be done. And our children will have security like other kids in organized sports and things like that, and you don't see them out on the streets anymore. It's not like when we were kids. Do you remember how you used to get on your bike, disappear for the whole day, come home at dinner time, you had lunch at your buddy's house, and mom made him dinner? Anyway, kids don't do that anymore. And so we're providing for the security of our children in Mooseheart. How about this?
Okay,
Go ahead.
so I don't know if you've seen our newest display downstairs. We decided to try to earn money a slightly different way. We have these wonderful brass keychains, and they are engraved Mooseheart Grad 2022 and one of 14 graduates' names. This one has Sean's name on it. So for we're asking for a donation of $30. You can tuck in a little note. You can choose whichever graduate you'd like to sponsor. And these will be presented to the graduates at graduation. The $30 is going towards Mooseheart Boosters.
We're going to make this as easy as possible. So, if, for example, our lodge bought one, and we will have a little note on there, and it will say, presented to you from the Munising Moose Lodge, congratulations. Well, we're not going to make it difficult, so everybody's got to ship theirs out we'll ship them out for you. We'll guarantee that it will get to Moose Heart, to the school, to the correct person, and I'm gonna guess it's gonna be probably Colleen Morgan or something like that. But we will guarantee it. So if you would like to come down and put your name on it, or put your lodge name on it, we'd be more than happy to take your money.
Yes. And I do have receipts, so if you want a receipt and have them, you know, the little form that will go to Moose Heart, or to Moose Charities, so your lodge or chapter gets the credit. I have those downstairs also. Okay.
Would you like to try the donor circle?
Okay. I am so thankful I have John to sort of move me along. So, I actually had an appeal letter written up for Donor Circle, and I can't find it. And I'm gonna try to wing it. But basically, so the Donor Circle, it is a monthly giving, and you can set it at as little as $10. But that is $10 that you don't have to think about, that makes such a huge impact to Moose Heart and Moose Haven. We're all in this together, and that's what that does. Yes, you do, you know, you get these beautiful little heart pins, and we have listings on the websites and such, but you're being a super good person. I get, you know. Sorry.
I'm not
The-
enjoying this. I'm not just sitting here enjoying this, watching you suffer.
You know, like the kids that do end up at Moose Haven, or Moose Heart, they end up, you know, it's their parents can't take care of them for whatever reason. Grandparents can't take care of them for whatever reason. You know, they may have come from situations where the lights aren't on every day, or there's no heat, or the only food they get is if and when they go to school. And to me, that's just heartbreaking. And how in good conscience can somebody, knowing all that, not take $10? That's 2 cups of coffee right now, or maybe it's just one, I don't know.
That's pretty good coffee.
No wonder buying it.
I have to say, I do like a Starbucks chai latte, and that is $5. So that's what I can go by. I don't do it that often, honey, I swear.
I've been watching that account.
But it's, you know, $10 to help. And we can make it really easy for you. We have forms downstairs that you can sign up. We have a website, moosecharities.org is set up to do all the hard work for you guys. You just gotta click, 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 click.
There's the click.
And there's our first click. That is moosecharities.org. And if you go under the donate button, it's right there. It's blurry.
Okay.
So the donate button, you get a drop down. That drop down, you get Donor Circle. From that, when you click on that one, it gives you, so it's the recognition program of Moose Charities. It recognizes donors like you for your individual tax-deductible endowment fund donation. Your endowment fund donations are cumulative. You receive your first pin at $100. Now downstairs on my table, it does explain the different levels. And you can you can do a one-time, or like I said, cumulative. So on the form, it does, you get all your billing information. You can mail it, and if you're not computer savvy, you can just mail a check, and like I said, I have paper forms downstairs to make it easy. And this just has you know, this lists what gifts you know, individual, 25, 50, but you can make it a monthly gift also, and there's a little checkbox.
And then on the next slide, it shows you how simple it is to fill out.
Yep.
They're not asking for your most intimate information. Basically, if you'd like to give us a couple of bucks, who are you? So it's going to ask for your basic contact information. And that's all it is. So it's not difficult, and it is something that is set up so you can do it online, or you can download the forms. It can be mailed in. You can actually call it. There is a telephone number on the Moose Charities homepage,
Mhm.
and you can use that.
And I also have it on the different forms we have, so.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay, so a part of that too is the M&M Club, and that also, it's just another way of giving. So we have those forms downstairs also.
I'd like to tell you a little bit about the M&M Club. It stands for Moose Heart and Moose Haven. And the point of that is that it's a regular donation, a monthly donation, and they're asking that your minimum donation be $10. It can be any amount that you want over and above that. And so it's automatically, every month, taken out and given to whatever instructions when you first sign up for the M&M Club as to where that money would go. It will. So being a member of the M&M Club puts you in a fairly exclusive circle. It's not a large group of brothers and sisters that are doing this, but it's certainly important. And so this is also for the donor circle. You don't have to say, well, I want to be in the donor circle. You make a donation and you're winding up in the donor circle. If you make it a regular donation, now you're in the M&M Club. So you don't have to make a lot of decisions. It's basically what you can or are willing to do.
Yes, thank you.
You're on.
Am I on?
No.
There are also different levels of giving. League of Guardians, that's $1,000 to become a League of Guardian. You can do it throughout the year. You can do it with your spouse or significant.
I think it's anybody in the same household
Yeah, so.
over the year, yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have to give it all at once. League of Guardians, they get listed on the website in the different, thank you, in different publications. They also get invited to a special dinner in recognition at the International Convention, a special night dedicated just for thanking the League of Guardians, your donations.
Something about the donor circle, which the League of Guardians is part of also, is that every level you can go on moosecharities.org and you'll find your name. You're not lost. It is for recognition. And it's really kind of cool when you see how many people are on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows all the state associations, all of our lodges, all of the people in our lodges that have donated. And it's the same thing with the MAC fund. You can see who has donated. You find your name.
Yes.
So the point is that you're not lost. It's not that you are some nameless person that has put money in a bucket and it's gone. Your recognition is there, and it's intended to, it's an honor.
Yes.
It's a true honor to be on it.
Okay. So I can talk about support while you shop.
Ooh, let's do
So-
that. Support while you shop, please. Amazon.
So, I think most everybody knows Amazon. Did you know Amazon gives? If you go to smiles.amazon.com, you can select a charity. Both Moose Heart and Moose Haven are listed separately. So whenever you shop, doesn't matter what the item is you're buying, Amazon will donate 0.5% of each item. So whatever your purchase was, they'll give us. They give us cash, or give Moose Charities. They send them a check.
Quarterly.
Yes. And it's not on a standard quarterly, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, but that's just their money and they're giving it to us, we
So
don't care.
yeah,
One of the things that you can't find anything on Amazon that you can't find on Amazon Smile. They're just the same
Yes.
website, except it's, you have signed up that part of your purchase can be used or will be used for a particular charity. And there's a lot of charities listed, but Moose Heart and Moose Haven are there.
are listed separately. So for Moose Hearts, last quarterly donation was $2,572.47. I don't think that was the one that included the Christmas shopping, but to date, Amazon has given Moose Charities $26,740.
And it didn't cost anybody anything. It's just a matter of using that website for doing your shopping. So it's not coming out of your pocket, it's part of their largesse, and we're so grateful for it. So, and there's another search engine too called Good Search, www.goodsearch.com, and they will do the same thing. And the first time you use it, they will ask you what charity it is that you want to be included in their shopping. So, and then there's a couple of other
Yeah.
things that we're going to use too. Go ahead.
Wait, so, it doesn't pertain to us on the West Michigan side, but Kroger Rewards, I know Lansing and on the east side, your Kroger Rewards, it's here, I saw it. We have this sheet downstairs, by the way, if you would like to. So, you do need to have an online account. And you just simply use your shopper's card so that the transactions apply to towards Moose Charities. So all those cards they give us at the store do have meaning. Yes.
A value, yeah.
Question, on the Amazon Smile, is that not tied into our Amazon Prime accounts?
Yeah, you can use your Amazon, get your Amazon Prime Smile, and then use your Prime account. Yep, that's exactly what I do.
Okay.
Oh, Tim, you didn't hear that either.
Missed that one too.
Okay, so that you don't feel alone, how many people here have ever shopped Amazon? See, you're okay.
Okay,
Tell none.
so, as you see, Tim did not raise his hand, but Tim sits there and says, honey, I need this, honey, will you buy this, honey, will you do this for me? So, he can say he doesn't shop at Amazon.
Another thing about the Amazon account is whatever your password is, your online ID and your it works for Amazon Smile.
Yeah.
So the first time you go to Amazon Smile and they ask for your credentials, there they are. So it's not getting difficult to use, it's just an alternative. It works just as well, but great for most charities.
Of course, the Coke Rewards, the lids, the tabs, and the things from your cardboard cans, those all you can always bring them to me. I do take care of them. But you can always do it yourself, and it's through Coca-Cola us.coca-cola.com/give, and you just put in those digits, the little key things that they tell you, and you can get 5 cents for, I think, each cap, 15 cents for 10 or 15 cents for a 12-pack. Oh, thank you. I'm glad somebody is.
So if you go to coca-colagive.com, you can find this code value. And the code value will be on the bottom of a can, bottom of a bottle, on the inside of a cap, or if you have a cardboard container, a 12-pack, a 30-pack, whatever it is, it's on the inside of that. You can scan it in with your phone, you can type it in on your computer, you can do it any way you want, but they will, and of course, the very first time you go and do it, it was a pain. In fact, it was a pain the first time. But then from then on, You know, it's easy cheesy, no problem at all. And, Coca-Cola is what, okay, how many people here have ever drank a Coke product?
Okay,
See how
diet.
easy this is?
Some of us have an addiction to Diet Coke, but.
So, that's another one of the
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah, so we have, if you use Bing as your search engine, www.bing.com/give. And, you know, we're all familiar with the, box tops for education, the General Mills products. No longer doing, box tops, but you can scan. There's the little QR, I think it's a QR code, but you can scan with your phone. So the recycling. I also do recycling. I take the cartridges, your ink cartridges, your drums, old cell phones, tablets, and we will box them up, send them to Planet Green Recycling. They have a program code, and they'll give Moose Charities credit for that. Whatever you do, don't send your stuff to Moose Charities. You can always bring it to me. You know.
Carly,
yeah.
I have a question.
Uh-oh.
Inkjets,
Yes.
right? Well, I have a laser printer and it has toner cartridges. Do they take those
Yes,
too?
yes, they do.
Oh,
And drums.
and drums.
Yeah.
Well, I have the cartridges, so that,
Yeah.
I mean, the toner cartridges.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
okay.
so
Look, well, I go through a lot of them, so stand back, they're on their way.
maybe we might need a new car to go to the zoo.
We need another bedroom as well.
Oh, yeah. We won't talk about that, please. Not right here. Okay.
So, fundraising. I can't believe there's anybody here that is not intimately involved with and understands fundraising. Do we all understand fundraising? Is there anybody here that doesn't understand fundraising? I didn't think there would be. We'll discuss.
You don't know how to say.
Now, at our lodge, we, a very small town, 2,400 people, the entire county's only got 10,000 people, and so everybody kind of knows everybody. And anybody that has distress, they typically will ask, they'll try to hold a fundraiser. And the Moose Lodge is kind of a choice place to do it, not only because we're completely ADA, but we're also very friendly people. And so when we have these fundraisers, we have found that an awful lot of people imagine that we are going to hold the fundraiser for them. And so we have to explain to them that we are providing the venue, we will provide support, we will help them and give them lots of information and a lot of ideas. And an example, it's gonna take me a second. There we go, the division of labor. A lot of people have no idea how much effort is involved. They think that on the day of the event, several people show up and it's all done. And yet, in order for them to know, what we've done is we've come up with a small list here. There's a chairman, the single person that makes sure that everything else runs. Now, they can't do it by themselves. So each chairman has, for example, a person that's an advertiser, and this is the person that calls the newspaper, calls the radio, gets the posters printed, puts them up, takes them down at the end of the event. They'll be putting them in gas stations or nonprofit boards, but somebody's got to do that. Well, the size of our county, even though it's very small in terms of human density, it takes a whole lot of people to do it. So that advertiser, that one person that the chairman has found, is going to get their own crew. Then there's the banker, and this is going to be the person that takes care of the money, not just that day, because you might have advance tickets. Or for that matter, you may be going out and buying some things that will be used as a raffle item. There has to be somebody that gets the till ready, that is sure that there's change. Also, if you have a fairly large event where you're talking about $5, $10, $15, $20,000 in a matter of 4 hours, you don't want that all sitting out there. So the banker is taking care of it. Also, at the end of the event, you want to give them a check and take the cash. You want that cash in your safe rather than them walking down the street with it. And then the check that you've given them for that amount is also evidence that we are doing what we said we would. We are not-for-profits, we are serving a nonprofit, and we are here for the betterment of the community. We are bringing the community together. Then there's the setup, takedown, and cleanup crew. Setup. Okay, let's say we're coming here and we're going to set up. And we're going to have a large opening in the middle, we're gonna have a dance contest. Somebody's gotta move the tables to the side, somebody's gotta set up the stage, somebody's gotta be ready to do all of these things, and yet when it's done, they want the tables back. So you have a setup, takedown, and cleanup crew.
And that's when you have the younger generation help you out?
Ooh.
You hope, you hope.
And then, for example, if you have a rummage sale, people are buying tables. Where are the tables set up? How many are going to be set up? And then there's the operator, the persons that are actually running the event. Now that's the day of the event. All of this other stuff is taking place ahead of time. So fundraising is not something that a person has no idea what's going on can probably do successfully. The most important thing I have found besides all of these is the advertising. If people don't know what's going on, you're not going to get the attendance that you need. Let's see, I would say probably the easiest fundraiser to do is simply because it has universal appeal is food items. A meal, spaghetti feed. It's not the best fundraiser necessarily, but everybody eats food. So that's one of the things, and everybody knows how to cook food, everybody knows how to wash dishes, everybody knows how to, so you got the drift. But there are a lot of other fundraising ideas, and hopefully we're gonna get those up on the screen. And it's not necessary, oh, no, we're not, that's right. It's in WordPad, you didn't have WordPad. Okay, I'll read them off real fast, memorize them. Okay, for example, games and contests. That can be one of the fundraisers you're having. And it can be things that we're very familiar with: cornhole, bowling, darts, horseshoes, golf, bingo, any sport, card games, picnic games, egg tosses, fantasy sports, fishing tournaments, meat raffles. It's played like bingo.
I've heard about those. I think that'd be real interesting.
That's something that we discovered too, is that you actually have to have a raffle license to do meat bingo, and you can't call it bingo. You can call it meat raffle, but spread it around town. The idea of it's played like bingo. You don't use bingo equipment. We use very much like the bingo we played with the playing cards here, same thing, exact same thing. And so people buy those cards and they play the bingo and they win meat. And it might be, you know, okay, we're playing now for 3 pounds of bacon, or we're playing for a roast, and it worked out pretty well. Most people really liked it. Now this is before, of course, it got to be $1 bazillion a pound. How about cardboard sled race? We did that a couple of years. You have to have an intrepid sledder.
Yes.
Trivia. Almost everybody knows trivia. All right, we got some trivia. You
Yes, I'm
Okay.
ready. Tim, are you ready?
Ready, love?
Okay. We have some trivia for you today. We'll see.
Love it.
How many students are enrolled at Mooseheart?
103, 175.
147.
150.
I don't think so.
Oh, well, it's close.
225.
It's Kathy, right?
Yeah.
You're the closest, there's 110.
And
So-
now the exact number, right now,
At least, yeah.
unfortunately, the numbers are down.
Yep.
And some of it is COVID related, I'd say a lot of it is COVID related. Some of the guardians just, we're not very happy with the state of Illinois' requirements for some of the young children to be vaccinated. And it's not anybody's choice other than the guardians. They are the ones that maintain that guardianship and are the ones that can make that decision. We had the same thing happen in our lodge. We had 3 sponsored children, young children, and they were taken out. We lament it, but it is not our right to question those parents or those guardians.
Tim is handing out, if you get the answer close, Tim is handing out little dollars. Those dollars are good for 1 square downstairs. Come visit us. Place your dollar bet on a 50-50 for a chance to win another $50. But most importantly, know about Moose Charities. That's the biggest reason I want you to come down.
And just in case trivia wasn't the thing that you wanted to play, we also had a pop bottle raft race. The pop bottles provided all the buoyancy, and you could put them together with tape and cardboard and paint, period. That's how you could make your raft. And we had some races out in Lake Superior, quite cold. The wind was not helpful because they're so light and they're up on the surface. Trying to turn at the end, we thought we had it knocked. We were sure. Nah, we lost. And then, of course, there is the ever-famous outhouse race. You can get involved in the outhouse race, and you can have people betting on it from the lodge. Now, you've got to be a little cautious with your betting, but you got the drift. What other trivia you got there?
Okay, what is the total fundraising goal, not just ours, but the total goal for the Moose Heart Activity Center?
I didn't know. Don't feel ashamed. Take a guess.
3 million.
Way high. It was-
10.7.
15 million.
Alethea is the closest. Are you pronouncing that right, aren't you?
Alethea.
Yes, Alethea is the closest. It is at 8 million, at least according to what we have. It was 8 million.
That was the original bill.
Okay.
And we're willing to be wrong, and we're willing to be told we're wrong, but we have the dollars. Our rules.
Yeah. So when was the Loyal Order of Moose founded? What year?
1909.
It was 1888.
You weren't born in 1888.
Just before that.
Okay, so Joe gets the dollar.
I'll make sure.
Not going anywhere.
Okay, so my husband found this one out. It was through Facebook, wasn't it? Which lodge is the largest lodge in the world by membership?
It's in Florida.
Santa Maria Island.
Everybody's right about that.
It is in Florida.
I can't remember the name of it. You just had it on Facebook.
Yep,
Yeah, it was.
It's on the ocean.
yep. Bradenton Beach.
Yeah. I couldn't think of the name.
I couldn't think of it either, but that doesn't.
But I know it's on the ocean. I can't remember the name.
Santa Maria Island. And actually, they're over 15,000.
Yeah.
It was just, it was,
Yeah.
And they only have 20.
Yeah, he said Anne Marie
Yeah,
Island,
that's-
yeah. So over 15,000 members.
And 24 parking spaces.
And, the second largest? Anybody know what the second largest is? They have 8,000 members. I don't know which lodge it is, but they have 8,000. At least that's what the article said.
Well, since you're the only one that's given us a name, we're gonna go with your right.
I'm not sure, I don't see all those stats. I was at Santa Maria Island last Saturday, as a matter of fact.
I thought you had a nice tan going.
We got very lucky and got one of those 24 parking places.
There you go.
Happened to pull in as somebody was getting ready to back out, so it's about the only way it happened.
What is the monthly minimum contribution necessary to become a member of the M&M Club?
$10.
$10.
$10.
All right.
All right, who did?
They listened, you told them.
Yes.
everybody is paying attention then, right?
Yes.
I think this gentleman did it first.
Okay, so I did a little digging, so who came up with the name Moose Heart? And it's not Jim Davis, it is somebody else. It was a contest.
He doesn't know.
Catherine Smith.
His name was John Lentz.
Well, you got it right, you get $1.
She's got the answers.
Yeah. Oh, I had to look them up. So what percentages of your donation to Moose Charities is set for Moose Heart and Moose Haven? Yes.
It's over here, I heard somebody say it. Right over there,
Okay.
100%.
So no administration costs are taken out of your donation.
Do you know why that is or how that is? Because if you go online to, and look up charities, and they will always, you can find out what percentage actually gets through for the charity you're intending. And sometimes the amount is just not very much, 65%, things like that. But 100%, every penny that you want to go to Moose Haven, will go to Moose Haven. You want to go to Moose Heart, will go to Moose Heart. And the way they're able to get around that is that Moose International provides a grant that covers all of their operational costs. So paper clips and direct mailing and staff cost is all taken by Moose International. And by the way, just so that you know, 70% of Moose International's funding is by donations. That's right. Your largesse, your generosity is what is providing for that. And you might wonder, well, where's the other 30% come from? I was really surprised. There's things like income property, rental, royalties, from some of the, can't remember what they call it. Let's call it services. Like the poker tournament in Las Vegas, they'll make a few bucks off of that. The karaoke, the national karaoke, they'll make some money off of that. Occasionally there's a sale of assets. I don't know if they're selling horses or hay, but that is where some of the money comes from. So the other 30% comes from regular investment income is probably the big thing. So, and like I said, it's okay to be wrong, and it's okay for you to correct me. Just be gentle.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry you sat down. I wasn't done.
Wellness program.
I think there's motivation.
The wellness program.
So what is the minimum donation needed to be a legal guardian?
$1,000.
Okay.
Yes.
A year, yes.
And I believe that is the entire household. Is
And
that
it
correct?
does not have to be all at once.
So it could be $3 a day and you'll do it.
$85 for the M&M Club each month. Okay, what is the approximate capacity of Moose Heart and Moose Haven, each one?
250.
Or the individual houses, maybe 20?
No, the entire facility of Moose Heart or Moose Haven, they have a capacity of approximately 300.
300.
Tim, I think Kathy got another, yeah, I don't know. You guys fight it out.
We're spreading the money around.
Do you know how much?
I don't know, Val, that because they remodel properties and they.
Yeah.
And there's, yeah, more than one.
We,
So,
we do have, we got a Moose Haven statistics, and this is as of February 28th, and said, okay, I got another one for you. How many residents from Michigan are at Moose Haven?
24.
30.
15.
Three.
three.
Three. And so what state would you think has the most residents at Moose Haven?
As an option.
And you are all so right.
I don't have enough dollars printed for that. Right now, when I say right now, this is a couple of weeks ago, the total residents was 273. But there's an interesting factoid there. You can go with that.
All right.
You don't get to.
There's 174 women, which means there's only 99 men, which means that those men think of it as a target-rich environment. These are not my words, I'm quoting Tom Cruise from Top Gun. Let's see, the oldest resident is almost 100 years old, 99.9. Let's see, the longest stay, the person that moved there at 65 or older was, I lost it, 23.8 years. But the average is closer to about 5 years. So, I mean, you have to remember, it's a retirement community. So, let's see, what other cool things have we got here?
There are 35 married couples.
Ah, yes.
The longest married couple is, was 76 years. And that is Jack and Louise, I'm gonna say Pertee.
Pretty sure. They
76.
deserve being mentioned. 76 years.
76 years.
That is one patient woman. So anyway, those are some of the stats from Moose Haven.
And I have one last trivia.
Ooh, let's hear it.
When will the Moose Heart Activity Center be dedicated?
June.
June 3rd or 4th.
Yep. They're right. Someone's right.
I got one left over.
You can.
You
well,
got
here,
some extra
just-
ones.
Okay, we're gonna go back to fundraising, and you recall that we talked about the division of labor, and we also talked about different contests. Well, you could have a fundraiser that's not a contest. It involves food, such as a breakfast, a chili cook-off, a pancake breakfast, a steak dinner, a prime rib dinner, coney dogs, that's something we've done at our lodge. Pie sales, something I approve of. Fish fry, something we do every week, every Friday. Has anybody ever heard of the Feast of Nations? And yeah, it was new for me too. And what it is you get 5 or 10 people together and they find a dish from a different nation. And then that is a dish that they make. And you invite people, of course, for a fee to come in and sample these dishes. So Feast of Nations sounds like a pretty good thing to me. In a bake sale, real common bake sale. Now, on the other side of food is wine tasting. Or how about a craft beer festival? That's something we do up in Unison. We have Beer on the Bay. It's on July 30th. This is a plug, so feel free to come on out. Yeah?
How about the human slot machine?
I'm not familiar with that.
I created the game. You want information? Ask me and I'll tell you. I do a dinner with it and I also do a game. It's dinner and game night. You want information on it? Come see me.
Okey doke.
It's a lot of fun. Believe me, you'll never regret. You'll always want to do this.
And you know how these are some things people really like doing, such as the wine tasting craft beer festival. There's also the tequila tour, one of my favorites.
One tequila, tequila.
That's about all.
Ew.
Now, not necessarily a contest for food and drink. How about shows? For example, we have a country music show annually. There's doll shows, craft shows, comedy nights, storytelling night, the Wheel of Fortune, Deal or No Deal, Knife and Gun Show, something popular in the UP, fashion shows, car shows. You're probably familiar with most of these, but hopefully you're getting 1 or 2 ideas. How about products? You're going to sell products. One that I was surprised to hear of is that fire extinguishers and smoke detectors make really good gifts because there's so many people that won't buy them for themselves. Especially if you have elderly people that wouldn't be able to put them out, hang up the fire extinguisher or put the smoke detector in place. Quilts, gift baskets, Afghans, a cookbook sale. That was another one I thought was very interesting. Your grandma had this wonderful, wonderful coffee cake, and you have the recipe. And then somebody else had this fantastic pasty dough recipe. And so and you wind up with all these things in this cookbook, and it's everybody's favorite. And so I have found that this cookbook actually does sell pretty well.
Yes, I have Spartas from there last time. I found some great recipes in there.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yes. Another page. Services. Raffles, art classes, first aid classes, and auction. Did anybody hear anything about auction?
Does anybody know anything about an auction?
50/50 raffles. You do not have to have an entire, another event to have a 50/50. You can have a 50/50 on one day. If it's over one day, you do have to have a permit for it. Aerobics classes. These are things, all of these things you can charge something for, if nothing else, using the venue of the lodge. Other events that you could have, a dance, a live music show, a formal dinner and ball. I didn't do that.
There you go, Roger.
Bicycling for bucks, and how many people have heard of Giving Tuesday? Okay, Giving Tuesday is a lot like Cyber Monday. And the point is that you can take this, you can change this into a fundraising event, Giving Tuesday. Again, you have to advertise it, you have to have somebody that's gonna kind of run it. So those are ideas that I'm hoping that somebody can use.
And we're gonna ask our favorite auctioneer to come up and demonstrate a fund. So, Tim, you can probably explain this a little bit better, the fund, how it's done. So, this is my better half, Mr. Tim Tovey, who's our state auctioneer.
Thank you, honey, good job. Keep up the good work, both of you.
He's my biggest cheerleader, and I thank him for it.
You are welcome.
So, one of the things through his business, because that's what his normal job is, we get asked to do fundraisers for churches, the schools, different things like that.
So, and one of the items is what is called the Fund a Need, and you might be familiar with that. That is an occasion where people don't have a chance to bid on that high item for $1,000 or $200. They get a chance at a lesser dollar amount. So I think what we're going to do is Carolee's going to write your name down, and then your bid amount, go down to the Moose Charities table where Carolee is at, and make your donation. She has slips for you, your Moose ID number.
We can take cash, check, credit.
Take it all.
Yep.
So, you know, we do the brown bag auction in the afternoon. That brings several $100s. One of the programs that you saw today was the League of Guardians for $1,000. Is there anybody that would like to join the League of Guardians at this time for $1,000? If you do, raise your hand. We'll write your number down. $1,000. That was a great hope. I wasn't expecting that, but that's okay. What we're gonna do is anybody give $100 to feel good on a Saturday morning. Anybody wanna give $100 right now? Thank you, sir. Your name is?
Mark Galliers.
Mark Kelly?
Galliers. Galliers.
Thank you, Mark. Anybody else give $100? $100 is all. $100. Thank you. Brian? Anybody else give $100?
And I will have receipts for you guys.
Yes, sir.
Brian Kennedy.
Brian Kennedy, thank you. Anybody else give $100? Please raise your hand. $100. $100. Anybody else? $100. Thank you, Jack Wilson. Anybody else? $100. Raise your hand. $100. Okay, that part. Now we're gonna go.
Oh.
Hey, there we go, Joe. Thank you. Anybody else? $100. $100.
Can't let him be.
That's right. Is that the missus? Yeah. Anybody else $100? Thank you very much. Way in the back right there.
Your name?
Paul Hawkins, C-A-L-A-I-N-S.
All right.
Anybody else $100? $100, do I hear $100 now? Anybody $100 wanna buy 'em? Anybody $100 bill now? Anybody $100? All right, how about, yes, James?
Don and I've gone $100.
Is that 200 total?
No.
Good try, Tim, good try.
Yep. You want me to talk about the sleeping arrangements?
No distance.
All right, $50 a piece, James and Donna, thank you. Anybody else $100? $100? If not, I'm going to ask last time, yes, $1. How about $50? Raise your hand if you would give $50 this morning going towards the MAC project. This is a chance where you don't have to bid $1,000 on that brown bag later. You can give $50 right now. Do I hear $50 now? Anybody $50 now? Anybody $50 want to buy $50 now? Thank you, sir. Your name today? Lauren Meeklander. We'll butcher that a little bit better. Anybody $50 now? Anybody $50 want to buy $50 now? Anybody want to buy $50? $50 now, $50 now. Anybody do I hear $50? Yes, right down here, Kathy. $50 now, $50 now. Anybody $50 now? Do you want to know what $50 now? Anybody 50? Who did her? There's Sean Smith. $50 now, $50 now, $50 now. Anybody 50 want to buy? There, right down the middle here. $50 now, anybody $50 now want to buy $50? Mac Project, $50 now. Do you want to know how $50 now? Anybody 50? Everybody can give $50.
Yep.
There's Paul again. Thank you, Paul. Anybody else $50 now? $50 now. $50 want to buy now? $50. Who that? We're selling. It's called the Fund a Need. So you can get $50 to be put in, just a nice little donation. $50. Or $100 if you're just getting in here late. 50. Subex. Anybody else $50? Do I hear $50 now? Anybody $50 want to buy $50 now? Anybody? Right down the middle again, times 2.
Okay.
And Cindy. Anybody else $50? Do I hear $50 now? Anybody want to buy $50 now? Do you want to know $50 now? Anybody $50? Who said 50? Another Wyoming gal. Wyoming's beating up on you. Who gives $50 now? Anybody $50 now? Want to buy now? $50 now? Anybody 50 want to know $50 now? Anybody 50 want to buy $50 now? Anybody $50? $50 towards the back. Close. Thank you all very much. Give yourself a round of applause.
Thank you. So this is, when I am not working at the library and not trying to do stuff for this is what I do. I'm his little clerk. Yeah. I don't even know what time it is now.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you everybody.
But you're not off the hook yet. We have a very special speaker, Brother Terry Walls. He is the chairman of the Moose Charities Foundation. Sir.
Thank you. Let me get a couple notes up here. First, I want to commend your Moose Charities chair people for what a great job they did this morning. You brought a lot of information. You armed yourself well and shared it with all the people here today. Thank you very much for that. You did a great job. I don't think you mentioned the free will program. Anybody know what the free will program is? You can go on to Moose Charities website and click on some of those links, as free will link. They will help you make a will for free. It's a free service. Now, so far, only 150 people have signed up for that and done that. They'd like to have a whole lot more. If you decide you want to leave Moose Heart or Moose Haven or Moose in that will, fine. You don't have to. That's not a requirement. That service is free for you to help you get your ducks in a row, your stuff in a line, for that time in life when it all comes. So think about that, go on that Moose Charities website and look at that free will link. I think it's a great program. It can really help you
Okay.
finalize your estate when that time comes. Now, your endowment fund collections are actually, this year, are $6,000 over so far your entire year last year. And you got a month and a half to go, and this conference will certainly boost that up. So I want to thank you and congratulate you for that. The Mac Center, let's talk about the Mac Center. The Mac Center will be finished, and it will be dedicated the first weekend of June. And the children are really, really looking forward to it. Now, the original goal was $8 million. So far, $5.3 million has been raised by the fraternity. Now, there's actually some individual private donations. We have other gifts. Corporations or non-members who donated $125,000 toward that goal. And the money from the appeals or sweepstakes to the tune of $2.9 million is going toward that goal. So the total amount raised so far is $8.3 million. But we need to keep finishing our obligation. Now, I know that Michigan is above, you're $26,000 above what you pledged, $100,000 to begin with. But we also know that half of the $8 million goes to infrastructure rebuilding at Moose Heart. Electrical lines, there's major electrical distribution lines. When one of those goes out and we have to replace it, it might be $250,000. Very expensive. So to help fund beyond the initial plans of infrastructure stuff, we really need that to keep helping with that contribution. Yes, Bob?
Can you share with them who our contractor is?
Who, I don't know who it is. I'm not on the board of directors anymore, so. I'm not in the information loop like you are, so. Penscover, oh, Mark Penscover, who's a Moose Heart graduate, he's on the International Board of Directors. And I'm sure he's taken a big discount to provide services for us for any of that infrastructure stuff. They went through the entire drainage, sewage system and rebuilt it properly. Because over the many, many years, a lot of the storm water was being dumped into the sewer pipe because it was handy. Well, it put too much volume into our sewer processing system, which sits on the Fox River. The system works very well, but when they repaired it and got storm water going to storm water, so it doesn't have to be processed through the sewage plant, it really took a big load off of our we have a very simple mechanical system that will literally work for it, and it should handle the campus without a problem. And thanks to Mark Penscover and his company, he owns, I can't remember the name of it, do you?
Not the name.
Anyway, he's a Moose Heart graduate. He came to Moose Heart, I think, when he was 2 or 3 years old. His parents were killed in a car accident. There was 5 kids, 5
came there and 2 more were old enough to be on their own.
Okay. He was one of 7 children of that family at the time. But Mark was raised at Moose Heart, and he is a dedicated person, believes in, he knows what we do, he knows how he was treated, how he was given an opportunity to live a normal life. And he has really given back in a big way because he can. And that's a wonderful thing to do.
So he's waived all of the profits for his corporation on doing this job, which is hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
He's donated those profits.
Yeah, and most of the contractors we've had in the past wouldn't think of that, doing that. They like to get their profits. Speaking of Moose Heart, you know, the things that you do to raise money for Moose Heart Our population is down right now. Part of it's family teachers. We have a hard time getting family teachers right now. The COVID, the pandemic has really affected us bringing children in to Moose Heart. Our admissions director, Kyle Reif, left for another job. And they have someone else, I believe, that's just started to do that. So the process has been somewhat delayed. But we have to have family teachers available to be at the houses where the children live. And I think there's an issue right now, having enough to really expand our population where we'd like to keep it. I think they'd like to keep it closer to 200. That's normally a good number for the school, good number for all of our programs, because the basic cost is about the same for Moose Heart, whether it's 100 kids or 200 kids, other than if more food or something. But it's pretty level as far as that goes, the basic overhead.
We have about 50 kids in line waiting, and we can't bring them on board yet because we don't have enough family teachers. Illinois law requires so many family teachers per child, per children, you know. So, we're really looking hard. If you know any guys graduating from college and their expertise is in family teaching and counseling, that kind of thing, please refer them to Moose Heart so that they can be interviewed.
Yes, we need candidates.
There are about 28 to 36 right now. I don't know why there's a span of numbers, but that's what Colleen Morgan had told me about a week ago. There's 28 to 36 family teachers now.
There's only 28 to 36 right now.
Yes.
And traditionally, that's been the highest turnover position on campus. It's not an easy job. You live in the house with up to 10 children. They don't normally put 10 children in a house now if they can help it, because that can be difficult. And they have, I grew up in a family with 3 kids, and we were difficult enough. I can't imagine having 7 more siblings. And honestly, there's the male, I think they call it, I can't remember what names they use for the boys' campus and the girls' campus, because they live in separate houses, unless they're little kids. The little kids share the same house. Community 2, I think, which is the girls, is a lot more difficult. Probably emotional thing. Having 2 daughters ourselves, 3 daughters, who were teenagers from hell, I understand. Actually, the 3rd one wasn't too bad. The first 2 were like, holy crap. And then the 3rd one was she's pretty calm, especially compared to the first 2. But they're all grown women now. My youngest daughter is getting ready to be 33 next month, so. And I even have a granddaughter that'll be 20 in another month or 2. So, she was the first one to come along. But anyway, that's some of the issues that the campus dealt with for many years. Now, I was mentored, I looked up to a guy who was a Moose Heart graduate from 1958, a guy named John Spence, who went to Moose Heart when he was 8 years old, him and his 12-year-old brother. Back, however long ago that was probably in the late 40s, in the late 40s. His brother ran away from Moose Heart campus and hopped on trains and made his way back to Mississippi and never came back. But John stayed there. He graduated from Moose Heart, and he told us many tales of his life growing up at Moose Heart campus, which was very different at that time period than it is now. We have a much better system. We have a very consistent system from house to house. As children reach birthdays, like a 13th birthday, they move up to an older group house instead of the younger group. And the family teachers in that house are very different. But now they all go by the same rules. They have the same program. And it really makes it a lot easier for the kids to adjust. It's a definite adjustment for children to come to Moose Heart. A lot of times the children that we get have had very little parental supervision or care, or anybody providing for them. One of the stories that I was told, and these boys are both grown, when they were 5 and 7 years old, there was a couple of brothers that were brought to the Mooseheart campus. Thank God to their aunt and uncle. The mother was a drug addict. She lived on the streets. The boys slept in cardboard boxes. They didn't know if they were gonna get to eat today or not. Some days they didn't get to eat. Some days they got to eat one meal. The mother turned to prostitution to support her habits. Finally, the family intervened and got the boys. And when those two boys came to the Mooseheart campus, and they brought them in and showed them where, all right, this is going to be your bedroom, this is your bed, and this is your bed. And they said, we've never had a bed before. And this always gets to me. But when they told them you get to have 3 meals a day, we eat breakfast, lunch, and supper, and they said, 3 meals a day, every day? They didn't know anything about that. So you give children a chance at a normal life. Something I certainly took for granted growing up. I was well fed. My mother was a good cook. I had a bed to sleep in. When I was young, I shared it with my brother. That's just the way it was. As we got older, we got our own beds. I even got an extra long one as I outgrew my brother. So my feet wouldn't hang off the bottom. But the things that I certainly took for granted, didn't think about, because they were provided for me. And a lot of these children haven't had that. And it's wonderful to be able to give that. Now the Mooseheart community is a family. Those children become part of the Mooseheart family. And they feel that. They feel it. They have friends that are brothers and sisters from another mother, as you would say. They're very close. They learn to be close. They learn to trust. And for many of them, they never had anybody to trust in their life. So the things that we do every day, the money that was raised earlier for the Mac Center, the kids are looking forward to the Mac Center opening. We closed and tore down the old swimming pool many years ago. They had an indoor swimming pool for a lot of years, but an indoor swimming pool creates its own problems. The chlorine, the chemicals, etc., deteriorate the whole building, is what eventually happened. And it's been gone for a while. But this will give them something to do that they will love, a place they can go. They go as a group, a family home. We'll have schedules when they can go down and participate in activities and have fun. And I'm looking forward to hearing stories of them enjoying the Mac Center. It's a great expression of how we feel about our children at Mooseheart, that we want to give them something nice. And I want to thank each and every one of you for helping with that, for contributing, for just talking to people and telling them, and thanking them. Be sure and thank them for help. If they put $1 in the endowment fund, I don't care. Thank you. It all matters. It all adds up. The endowment fund started as the penny fund. The penny fund. And it raised $1 million in a very short period of time, and was totally amazing in the early days and how generous people were to that endowment. Now, I mentioned last night I have a book from 1918. It's a history of the moose. It's 30-year history of the moose. Moose started in 1888. And I've heard several different stories about how we got our name. But in that book, it has a written version of how the moose got its name. But I want to share the first story I heard. That around I think the Elks were formed around 1882, before the moose was. And Dr. J. Henry Wilson, who was the original founder of the moose, and some of his fellows that he knew got together. They wanted to form an organization that included both ritual and fraternal. They liked the combination of the two things, but they couldn't decide what to name it. And they talked about it because there was already the Elks and, I don't know, some of the other big organizations. And in the spirit, they voted on between the bison or the moose. What I was told, it was either Royal Order of Bison or moose. And in the spirit of one-upsmanship, you gotta be a little bigger than the next guy, right? So since the moose is bigger than an elk, I think elephant was another consideration at the time. But that was what helped lean it toward the moose, because it was bigger than an elk. But the real story is it was a social group of actors in Louisville, Kentucky, that wanted to form a social group. And why they named it the Moose, I don't know. It's in the book. That's how it was actually formed at the very beginning stages. I like the other story better, because it kind of makes sense. You know, back in 1888, a lot of one-upsmanship over the years. Now, what also amazed me in that book, and it had kind of a yearbook of a lot of moose lodges across the nation. Even one in Tulsa I had never heard of. That was formed in 1912 or 13. It was a picture of a group of men in a room at a banquet dinner, having a dinner there at Lodge 414, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Never heard of it. And they would have a financial report, a small financial synopsis of how many members they had, how much money they had in the bank, and back then we were a beneficiary membership. You joined the Moose, there was benefits to it. It was really an insurance policy. If you died, your family got $100 to help bury you. Well, in 1918, you could probably get buried for $100. Your family might have dug the hole. I mean, it's possible, I don't know, but I'm sure that happened a lot. And you were put in a wooden box and put in the ground. And if you got injured on the job, you couldn't work, they would pay you up to $7.25 a week in a beneficiary fund. Well, a lot of people grew their own vegetables. They canned foods, they did stuff. So $7.25 in 1918 would actually buy some groceries for your family. You might not have had utilities, because a lot of people still didn't have electricity or phones or anything else. They did what they could. That's what built the foundation of this order. The beneficiary benefits of being a Moose. It was kind of like an insurance policy, because most people couldn't afford insurance back then. But the surprising thing to me, it cost a $25 fee, application fee to join the Moose. Now, 1918, $25 is going to be closer to $500 or $600 today. Now, your dues were typically $1 a month, either $10 a year or $1 a month, $12 a year, and you could pay a monthly or quarterly or whatever you could pay. But that $25 to get someone to sign up, to me, is amazing. And amazing how many, they had 500,000 members. 500,000 members. So they were providing something to the community that was not available. And that was James J. Davis's part of his vision and how they built this fraternity. And Mooseheart was also part of that, obviously. And I'm very proud of Mooseheart because it was an old dairy farm. And I've heard of dairy farmers in upstate New York who said they remember as a child hearing about having part of the Mooseheart herd. The very good herd of dairy cow to have part of that breed at their place. Now, that was when I was in upstate, so I was surprised to hear that, glad to hear it, but, and I can't remember the name of that farm. I've heard the name of what the Mooseheart Farm was before we bought it, 1913. And it was a huge 1,500 acre dairy farm, something like that. And they actually ran it for about 90 years. They finally shut down the dairy farm 20-something years ago, I guess. And I remember Oklahoma and Kansas are fairly small associations. We wanted to do a fundraising project for Mooseheart, and they came up with the Mooseheart Petting Zoo. You remember the Mooseheart Petting Zoo? You guys have a Michigan Day on campus, right? Do you go for Founders Day, or, and that is so awesome that you do that. And we were very proud to have something with our name on it on campus, and that was the petting zoo. Well, about 2 years later, I had gone up there and went out to the petting zoo, and it was still in good shape. And I talked to the farm manager, and I said, "What's that?" And my lodge had paid for a blue ribbon turkey from the fair to be put in the petting zoo. I said, "Where's that turkey?" "Oh, one of the kids cut its head off." Well, I said, "Well, here," I gave him my card. I said, "Give me a call anytime something like that happens. We'll just buy another one." They're teenagers. If teenagers don't want to be on that campus, they know how to get out. And that'll probably get them dismissed to do something like that. They're kids. They don't always want to be there forever. It's a good place for them. It's a wonderful place. I was going somewhere with that and I lost my train of thought. My train derails pretty often these days, but I try to keep going with it. Anyway, let's see, the petting zoo, well, it was a great place, and the last time that my wife and I went to what was left of the petting zoo, the building's still there. There was actually a mother goat giving birth to some kids. So it's pretty awesome. I think my granddaughter, who's now a 15-year-old pain in the rear, was with us. She was a good kid. She still is. And she happened to be with us and got to witness some of that and was pretty amazed by the whole thing. I think it's a wonderful thing. I was raised around farm animals with my grandparents, and I think it's a good thing for everybody to be. Like I said last night about my grandson and his girlfriend, she was going to go lay babies, and he was going to be the daddy. Lay babies. Now, kindergartner, that's enough of a concept for a kindergartner. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. I want to thank you again for all that you do for Mooseheart, Moose Haven, for Moose Charities. Moose Charities has made a huge difference. Moose Charities raises between $12 to $14 million a year. The money comes through Moose Charities. None of it stays. It goes on. It funds Mooseheart and Moose Haven. Moose Charities and they told you that, the administrative costs are 100% underwritten by Moose International. So when you ask somebody to contribute something, 100% of their donation goes to what they want it to. If you want to give something to Mooseheart, now Oklahoma has the Antoinette Marinello building, the home, and we're very proud of that. We have kids that we help support. So we have people that are in the M&M Club, and they have designated it for the support of the Antoinette Marinello home, for extra needs that the kids have. And you can pick whatever you want. I love the M&M Club because I don't have to think about it or remember it every month. It automatically gets paid. Yeah, you have to update your credit card once in a while. And I wanted to change what my contribution was going to. And it's been several years ago, I think they fixed the process. You had to actually cancel that donation and start a new one. It was a little more bit of a pain, but I think they fixed that since then. Thank you for what you do. I want to thank you guys for all your hospitality this weekend. Thank you for being here. You have a great association. You've got really good leadership, they're very informative. Your Moose Charities co-chair people did a great job this morning. They were very nervous, Carolee was. I thought she was wonderful. She was wonderful. She really was. I'm gonna get down off this podium, I can't get in front of a microphone. I get people going. Now, I remember was it the ladies' meetings, they used to blow kisses? I thought that was a good sign. Tell you, you've talked enough, and I do. Thank you, I'll get to talk to you again later.
Your prize number is in a minute.
Hey, if you have a green ticket. If you don't, I'm sorry. The numbers are 214.
214.
Kathy.
1, 2, 7.
127.
127.
Smack him.
The other one is 114 at the end.
The other one is 114 at the end.
At the end.
She was louder than your mic.
2-minute break if you need to. We need to start the next workshop really quick. Lots more information.
5 minutes? 5 minutes, all right, 5 minutes. District presidents, if you're coming in, we'd like you up here in the front also. Little housekeeping. If you have children attending, Marcia Kaliszewski is our family activities chairman. She's asked that if you have family, if you know people here with family, 2 o'clock downstairs, the Rathskeller by the putt-putt golf course is where they like to meet. And everybody, if you are in the hallway, mingling, talking, it's been reported, not just the hospitality room, that people, the guests here, are complaining. And we don't want to be complained upon. Fine talk, but you're maybe talking too loud or mingling too long. Be careful.
Going down the hallway yelling and screaming and everything else. Talk about. Yes.
Somebody run that hospitality link, that's not a loose number? Yeah. Yeah, you would think they would not. Yeah.